Hello Pisces, and welcome back to your Friday reading. So we're at the end of the week, and yeah, just a simple deck, a simple tarot deck. Let's talk about tarot for personal development. This word has come up a few times in the last couple of weeks, from one of you actually, and from just what I do here and for Pisces. And it is really about personal development. It's about figuring out how we can grow and what we can do. And I'm just going to start pulling some cards here. Two different purples going on. I'll have like a lilac-y purple, and I have a, I don't know, to me they're all in the same group of colors, right? So let's take a look. Let's take a look. I'm going to invite Mona and Liam to the conversation, as always, to give some insight. Okay, so the Nine of Cups comes in reverse. Nine of Cups and Knight of Cups. If you say it real fast, you can get them mixed up. And the Page of Wands. So, what are we looking at here? Let's bring it forward. Let's bring it forward. Let's play with the camera a little bit, just because, you know, I need to mix you up a little bit here. Let's take a look and see, okay? Can you see these? Okay. So, what I feel with the Nine of Cups in reverse and the Knight of Cups upright, just them together, first of all, is that what should be happening is that they should be in each other's positions. In other words, this should be like this. And I think that's what this card here is for. It's that new kind of thing coming in, right? It's a new ideas, a new situation. Instead of feeling stifled somehow, okay? Like things are not really going your way. Because this is like blessings and happiness. But if you have it in this way, it's like less of, right? You know you're lucky, you know you're happy, but somehow you're feeling emotional or overly emotional about something. And it's your emotions are getting away from you. The more emotional you get in the wrong direction, the less you can stay in your blessings. And I think that's a big thing that's been coming up and we've been talking about in just the last little while. In the last like 30 days or so. There's been a lot of that. And the Page of Wands wants you to look at something brand new. The Page of Wands for me is always about the impulsive new ideas, impulsive new ways of thinking. Instead of impulsively being miserable, okay, which is kind of this, okay? They want you to be impulsively looking at new things. He's even looking at the page. Can you take new ideas and revamp them into something brand new? Can you start thinking in a way that's not going to cause you a bunch of grief? That's going to flip your Nine of Cups so that your cups are open to receive instead of upside down and closed. Is there any way for you to do that? That is the big conversation today. That's the big thing that's coming in. Okay? Because sometimes we get in a mood or a situation and we just kind of get stuck there. We stay there. Even today. Right now, we're into truck camping, you know. And the weather is 30% chance of rain. It's going to be overcast for the next 2 days. And I could say, well, I'm going to wait for the perfect condition to go out there and do stuff. But why? Why? My tent's got a rain cover. I'm close to my house because we're still kind of like, you know, just testing out the waters, right? What's the worst that can happen? We can just, it starts to rain and we have to come indoors. We're perfectly safe, but instead of going, well, I'm waiting for the exact perfect condition and turning the cups upside down so that there's no rain that comes into them, it's decided upon that, you know, like, and then there's like, well, we were planning to do that, you know, and then the emotional part comes in, and what ends up happening is exactly that. You turn the cups upside down without even taking into consideration, well, what if we just said no and decided to, you know, have fresh insight, to take the adventure, to be impulsive, to do it anyway. We might just be pleasantly surprised, right? So this is just an example. Your life probably has nothing to do with truck, tent, or camping. But absolutely, right? What are you putting off because the conditions are not completely optimal, okay? Let's look at that. Let's look at that. What can you do? What can we do for that? Well, instead of procrastinating, we can actually just launch. That's what they're saying right here. You can actually just launch it. Just take the first steps and do it, right? Just go ahead and say, okay, well, let's put down the first peg. You know, park the truck somewhere where we can, you know, we feel safe, and start taking things apart and doing it, right? 2, we can enjoy the time that we are doing these things with other people. We can bring other people along to enjoy it with us, right? And give us the courage and the strength and the happiness to follow through in these things. Build stronger relationships and not be afraid of the adventure. That's the thing. Trust the universe to keep you safe, okay? Now, I'm not saying if there were storms announced, but this is like, you know, 20 to 30% chance with overcast. Even the little app doesn't even show any rain. It might drizzle, but they're not showing any great storms or nothing. It's just kind of that blah day, right? So why don't you just trust the universe to help you out, to do things with you, to you know, have fun. Sometimes we make big mountains out of molehills, and we miss the opportunity to have a lot of fun in our lives. Fun is not a dirty word, and it's not an ugly word, and it's oftentimes put on the back burner. You ever see a child miss an opportunity to have fun? Oh, heck no. Heck no, they're all about fun, right? If given the opportunity, they'll definitely pick fun. Should learn something from children. Pick fun, okay? Pick the adventure. See where it brings you. Sometimes we have bad experiences as kids, and then we seriously curtail our opportunity for fun. And we shouldn't. We should take the chance. We should have the fun. I'm not saying put your safety in jeopardy, but, you know, I think that sometimes we create dangers where there's not actually that many, or where it's very minimal. And let's face it, some of the times, the stuff that ends up being very dangerous, it kind of comes out of nowhere. Example, a few years back we were riding home, and, you know, we just thought it was just storming outside, and ended up a big derecho came through. And look that up. It's like a weather system that kind of comes in and destroys everything. And we were right in the middle of it. And we were unaware. We were caught unaware. And there wasn't much we could have done. I mean, we did what we could, and we survived it. I'm very grateful for it. But you can't always protect yourself from every single thing. Even though sometimes you know, sometimes you feel like you could. That you just want to hide away. I think sometimes we protect ourselves, not only just from situations like that, we just protect ourselves, period, from any new experience and fear that it's not completely guaranteed that it's going to turn out exactly the way we imagine it, right? And that's a hardwire, and I've been talking about that for a while too. It's a hardwire or rewire that needs to be done. It's a hardwire that needs to be broken, that needs to be cleared out, so that new wiring can come in, so that we have more fun in our lives. So what else do they have to say? What else does Mona and Liam have to say? I have the Sun card here that fell out, but there's too many. So you have the Victory card. And what I hear with this one is that we were wired for victory. Look at that. Yeah, we were wired more for victory than burden. We burden ourselves, I think, more than we should. We're always working towards success. Well, at least we should be. If you're not, well, then you need to start planning your life a little better, I think. But most of us, when we wake up in the morning, we don't go, I'm going to fail terribly at everything today. No. We try to stack the deck in our favor, right? So that we can end up victorious at the end of the day and being able to celebrate. But we burden ourselves so hard on the things that we should be doing that what I'm feeling is like we choke the life out of the success that we're aiming for. That's what I feel like. I feel we stack so much on our backs. We stack all of these wands on our back and we end up carrying them instead of celebrating them. Instead of feeling victorious in them, instead of celebrating the wins, we end up taking them all out of the ground and carrying them on our backs like some kind of cross. And it just takes the fun out of everything, and it puts the fear of how that might end up crushing us in the end. And it's really overthinking. I mean, if you think about it, it is overthinking. It's like almost planning for a good thing, but then letting that good thing take over our minds and then wanting to ensure that good thing and then putting the pressure of ensuring that good thing. Yeah. You have to have more self-assurance and belief, there you go, that what you're working on is going to bring in progress. You're going to see results. You're going to see rewards. You're going to get the accomplishments that you're working for. Okay? You have to see it like that. You have to have the courage. You have to have the courage to meet some of the wild part of life that comes in. You know, the unpredictable part where, yes, if I put my tent in, it might drizzle. That unpredictable part might come in, but it's kind of a calculated one, right? If it was 80% rain or even 60%, I wouldn't do it because I'm guaranteed that I'd get wet. But between 20 and 30% all day, all night, I might not see a drop at all. And if I do, it might not be for very long. And it's just enough that it's like, I've worked at this. I'm organized, right? So are you. You organize, and it's a calculated risk. Why not celebrate and think that the world is going to work in your favor rather than thinking it's going to work against you? And what's not, I mean, I'd be camping with my husband, and that's romantic in itself, right? I mean, I'm in a tent in a bed with my husband, and if there's drizzling rain, that could totally work to our advantage, right? It's very calming, it's very peaceful, it's very cocooning, it's very us. Hot coffee, close to the person, warmth. There's advantages, there's things to celebrate. There's togetherness to be had, okay? You just got to work at the things that matter. You've got to turn things into your advantage. And you have to meet up with that wild part, okay? Increase your personal power. Focus on your inner strength. And work with your wild part to find balance between logic and impulses. Like, work with it. Work with it. To turn it into something that can be celebrated. That on the flip side, you can say, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I took the chance. I'm so glad I did that. Right? Yes, I'm using my personal examples, but this is like saying, you know, Jane and Bill have, you know, 3 pieces of money each. You know, if they get them together, how much? It's just an example to show you how it works. Okay? Yeah, oftentimes we leave things behind because we seek for the perfect balance. The Justice card for me is a very definite, very strict way of balance. It's a very structured, balanced way. It's apples to apples, oranges to oranges, bananas to bananas, right? There's one in each. And yes, we work at it a lot. You see, working at that, right? But these two working together makes you leave a lot of things behind. And sometimes leaving is a good thing to do. When it is so far out of balance that you can't, in other words, if I get 60% rain, I know that I have to give up. Because, first of all, I don't know what kind of storm it's going to be. I don't know what kind of wind I'm going to have. Is it going to have lightning and thunder? Do I really want to be in that kind of weather? Probably not. So sometimes it's a good idea to move on, okay? But when you've structured it so strictly that any chance of rain becomes rain, it becomes apples to apples. There's no personal balance, like I've talked about often, where if you have 2 bananas in one and 2 bananas in the other in these scales, that if you're feeding a lion and a mouse or an elephant and a mouse, whatever, that you know that you can't give 2 and 2 and that it's going to be personally balanced. Of course, the elephant's going to eat a lot more than the mouse. Their stomachs are different sizes, right? So in that case, it's not oranges to apples to, you've got to mix it up a little bit. And this is all they're saying, okay? Don't work to close yourself off from opportunities every single time a small something happens or presents itself. Work towards a more controlled balance, a more, not controlled balance, a more personalized balance. Okay? Okay. Life is about looking for happiness and sharing happiness. Okay? Sometimes life is going to ask you to pause. But if you're pausing all the time, you're not actually assessing, which is what this is. Assessment, adjustment, judgment is what this card is. It's about seeing what you know, where you've been, what you've learned, and using it accordingly, right? Reviewing it, renewing it, releasing it, changing it, continuing it, a rite of passage. But first and foremost, you should be looking at blessings, okay? Gratitude for everything that you have, okay? Emphasizing on success, harmony, security, love. If you're always in your peaceful mind, sometimes there's less of this, less pause, okay? Less pausing of just going no to everything, or constantly going, no, I'll wait, I'll wait, I'll wait, I'll wait. It's putting your happiness on pause because you haven't done the proper assessing. And that's what we say to ourselves. Well, I don't know. There's too many unpredictable things. What about the predictable things? What about the things that you know about? Okay? How about weighing stuff properly instead of weighing it improperly? Yeah. Okay? And yes, sometimes you might make the wrong decision. But remember, life is a learning experience. Okay? You can either live your life fully or hide in your life fully. And that's, I don't know. Which one is better for you? Which one is better, right? Okay, so this is the last set that I'm bringing out. The importance of reconnecting to what's important, to illuminate the way, to have hope, peace, and optimism, boundlessness, and to stay calm when things don't always turn out the way you want, when there ends up being a storm. Having a plan B or C of action to do. So it's, let's say, calculated risk. If I set up the things, well, if it ends up raining too much, I'm very close to my house. I mean, close, like as in probably 30 steps away from my home. So I can come inside and take shelter, okay? So why wouldn't I stay calm through all of this? Why wouldn't I take the chance? Because maybe all of my life I've played it safe, okay? So I've got to reconnect to a part of myself that embraces the adventure, the happiness, the optimism, the having the fun part, the illumination, right? To do fresh starts, to know that even though there are dark days, there's always a dawn, right? Let myself be guided by, enthusiasm, happiness, and the star. And to stay calm when things don't always work out to my best. And know that I have the ability to stay calm. And I think that you should stay the same as well. You should do the same as well, my beautiful ones. And I guess the lesson is today, or the big message, the lesson, the personal development, as it's been called, is to let yourself live. Okay? Embrace life. Take it as it comes. Don't put set limits to your life all the time. Assess the situations one by one, and sometimes put your toe out and put it in the water and see if the water is fine. You may be missing something really fun and interesting, an experience or an adventure that you could have had because either, you're just afraid. You're just afraid of any unknown. Any unknown. Life is made up of experiences and how you can feel in them and what you receive from it, who you can share it with. Don't miss the adventure because of preconceived fears. Sometimes there are fears that aren't even here yet or made up. Why would you feel any fear until you actually hear the crack of thunder or lightning, right? You know, I remember a few years back as a story of a young man who got hit by lightning and died. A storm kicked up, and I don't really know, I don't think there was any indication, or it just came up really quickly, right? And he took shelter under a tree, which, by the way, you should never do. It's not a good idea. But, you know, when you get hit by rain, all of a sudden you think, well, I'll just wait it out under here, right? And, of course, that tree got hit by lightning, and he died. And I'm pretty sure he just never thought that would happen to him that day. I'm sure none of his family thought that either. And while my heart still remembers that day and how much I was just blown away by how life can change in an instant, you can't always plan everything. As much as you like to, as much as you know, think that I'm safe right now, maybe you're not. Why constantly protect yourself every single minute of every single day in fear that something bad's going to happen when it could anyway? It could on an idle Wednesday when you're not even expecting it. And it just does, right? Do you say wrong place, wrong time? Is it right place, right time for a disaster to happen? You just never know. So why anticipate things before they happen? Why worry about them when they might happen anyway? Why don't you live your life to the fullest? That's it for me. I feel like it's a little sad today in some ways. But it gives you something to think about, doesn't it? It gives me something to think about. All the decisions I've made out of safety. Usually because I had children, right? When you have kids, when you have kids, you make a lot of decision and think, oh, well, I'm not going to do that to keep them safe, and I don't want to take any chances. But as I get older and it's just about me and somebody else, well, now I'm making decisions for myself. And I find that I'm very strict on a lot of things. I'm very closed off for a lot of things. And it's the only person I'm hurting is myself, because I'm stealing adventures and personal experiences. I'm stealing them from my lifetime course, my pathway, my journey. Are you stopping the things big and small in your life? Are you taking any steps towards something? Just taking a chance. And a chance is just breaking those barriers that you've created over time. Sometimes that's all you're really doing. Sometimes you're not even getting out of the rain. Sometimes you're just not even leaving the house. So, my beautiful ones, I let you go with this, and I hope that you got 1 or 2 or 3 message out of this to enjoy your life. And I will see you on Sunday for the weeklies. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And again, do not play in lightning. Stay safe. And hopefully the weather holds out for us. Take good care of yourself, and I will see you later. Bye for now.